How is everyone doing today? This video is going to be a little bit different, and if you're an outdoors enthusiast, this is going to be the video for you. I have been requested to make this video a few times, and it's about going over off-road trails and hiking trails in New Hampshire. I'm going to be going over the most popular ones, and then also going to be linking websites below for you to actually go and look at the specific ones you want to look at. And it's the best ones I found for like the site and overall use, giving you the most details. So I hope you find those useful, but this is going to be a little bit different of a video. I will be looking at my computer a little bit more just so I can give you the actual details of it and not mistake myself when I'm saying the certain things, because even though I live in New Hampshire, I haven't been to all of these. Nearly half of these I haven't been to, so I'm going to be going over it, show you the location of it so you know kind of where these things are most popular in New Hampshire and the best place to find them. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Moynihan. I'm a local real estate agent and investor based out of Keene, New Hampshire. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, if you have any questions about New Hampshire, feel free to drop them below or just contact me directly. Be more than happy to help you. And let's get right into today's topic. So like I said, we're going to be going over off-road trails and hiking systems in New Hampshire. I'm going to be going over the three most popular of each. And again, I will be linking websites below for you to go check out on your own and do a little bit more exploring, but I didn't want to make this video super long. So I wanted to keep it nice, brief, and concise. So first, we're going to be going over the off-road trails. And I didn't even know this, but New Hampshire has over 1,000 miles of interconnected ATV trails, and it's referred to as Ride the Wilds system. I didn't even know this. Most of my life has been spent in southern New Hampshire, pretty close to Mass, and we have good trails around here, but they're not necessarily legal trails. And these ones up north are completely legal, so those are going to be the ones we're going to be kind of talking about. And there are some scattered throughout New Hampshire, but again, I kind of did it in my friends' backyards and just trail systems that we built ourselves or were used for other purposes, but we used them for those purposes. So, first one we're going to be talking about is one I actually have been to, and it was this year I went to it for actually my sister's husband's bachelor party. So my brother-in-law bachelor party, still weird getting used to that. But first one is called Jericho Mountain State Park. And this is very north of New Hampshire. I believe it's up in Berlin. Let me just double check that for you. Yes, it is in Berlin, New Hampshire. And it is a very big state park up there. Like I said, I went to ride it this year, so I actually do have a little bit of info on it. It is pretty crazy because essentially Berlin's a very rural town, but a lot of it is tourists that come up there to ride these trails and do the ATVs or the UTVs, weird word to say, but they get up there and they rent them a lot of times. Luckily, I went up with some buddies of mine for the bachelor party and they had their own, so I used one of theirs. Luckily, they were allowed me to use it. First time I really drove a side-by-side for an extended period of time or on any actual trails. Usually I just took them around like friends' houses that had farms. This was quite the experience, and there were trails that were from intermediate to very difficult, and we went on the most difficult one the first time I ever really rode one of these, and holy cramoly, that is quite the experience. The way you just go around those trails and up rocks and around corners, the bends, that thing, I almost flipped it 6 times in a day. It's pretty gnarly. Your body hurts. My whole forearms were on fire. They were sore for days on ends. My hands were sore. It was crazy because you're just holding on to that steering wheel, praying that you don't flip because you don't, I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm just hitting the gas, having a grand old time. But the not so difficult ones, those are super fun. They're almost just like back roads in New Hampshire, just dirt roads. They're pretty wide. You can go pretty quick. I forget what the speed limit is, but it's pretty fast, faster than you'd think it'd be. And it was a blast out there. You do have to be safe out there. The next one we're going to call is the Ride the Wilds Trails Network. So I believe Jericho Mountain State Park has some of those into it, but then this is just all the 1,000 miles included. And again, I'm going to be linking a website. I'm going to do a little screen record of the website, and it just shows you kind of all the actual trail systems there are in New Hampshire, all the phone numbers, the actual locations of it, and gives you more info. So I'll link those below. And then the next one is Pisgah State Park, and this is actually pretty close to me in Keene. It's about 30 minutes away over in All right. Well, it doesn't tell me the exact location because it's in a few different towns, but it's over like Chesterfield, Westmoreland, and you can actually get to it from Route 10, Route 119, and Route 63. So it's also over by Hinsdale and all that stuff. So it's a really big state park, and I've only went to it to go hiking before, and the hiking trails were super cool. So I don't know if you're allowed to ride on the hiking trails or where you actually ride, but I've heard a lot of people go to this place and they say it's really good. I just don't have anything to go do it with. I don't have a dirt bike or a four-wheeler like I used to. So I don't really know the trails, but I've heard good things about it. So I would, of course, look into it a little bit and see what's up. But these, again, I'm looking at the website right now and I'll put it over the screen, but there are some down south New Hampshire, but a lot of them are going to be found more up north, and a lot of the bigger ones with, like, I wouldn't say less rules, but more open rules. So that's about it for the off-roading stuff. Again, I don't know a ton about it, but I want to make the video because I've been asked a few times about it. And of course, when you're looking into this, you want to look at the necessary permits and rules you need, whatever safety gear you need. Like when you rented them up north, you had to wear a helmet. It was a requirement, but New Hampshire isn't a helmet state. It's just because it was a rental company. So it's kind of what you want to do with that, I believe. But make sure you have your licenses right. You have the actual register. You actually have the vehicle you're using registered and all that stuff, so you know you're in the green. And the next one we're going to go to is the hiking trails. Now this one, again, I don't know a ton about. I like hiking. Not really though. You know, I like going up there like once a year maybe to go look at a view. That's pretty cool, but other than that, I don't really like it. My girlfriend loves hiking. She has done a lot of hiking. She did the 48 4,000 footers. Most of those are up north. Again, I'll be putting a link below for that because it's on all trails, and it's a really cool app that like you can look at where they all are. But again, most of the good hiking for New Hampshire is going to be up north in the White Mountains, which is kind of across the state. So it's up like north of North Conway, up north of Lincoln. And of course, there's Mount Washington up there, and there's a bunch of them up in the Franconia Notch, all that stuff. So you're going to be looking a lot up north for most of these mountains. And the first one we're going to touch on is what's called the Franconia Ridge Loop. And this is actually a pretty big loop. I was looking at it earlier. It's 8.6 miles because it's a big loop. I believe you hit 2 mountain peaks in it. I could be wrong, but it's a ridge line. So it's really cool looking. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen so you can look at those. It's a really good looking hike. I'd like to do it, but 8.6 miles is quite the hike for me. Number 2 we're going to look at is Mount Monadnock. Now, this one I am familiar with. There's a bunch of different trails to go up Mount Monadnock, but it's over in Jaffrey, also in Dublin, and I believe Marlborough a little bit. So there's a bunch of different trails you can take up it. I've actually never been up the most popular trail of it because I always go with a buddy of mine, and we go up the backside usually because it's more difficult, but it's a lot faster and not as many people, so we go that way. Super cool. It's actually the most hiked mountain in the United States, and I believe one of, if not the most hiked mountain in the whole world. The reason being is because, again, it's in the southern part of New Hampshire, so a lot of tourists come up and hike this mountain. A lot of like Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, all those come up here to hike it, and making it one of the most hiked in the world. And again, if you take one of the off trails, it's not as busy. All depends on the time of year you go, the time of day, all that stuff. On the weekends, have fun. It's probably going to be busy. I would go for like a nice morning hike in the midweek or an afternoon hike and go catch a sunset. That's the things I've done because I always go with a buddy. He knows the trail, so I don't have to get lost. And then the next one we're going to talk about, I don't really know how to say it, is Arthusa Falls Trail. And apparently it's a pretty short hike, but it goes to New Hampshire's tallest waterfall. And it's great for like photography and all that stuff. So it's very fun. I'll put up some pictures again on that. One thing I do want to mention with hiking up in New Hampshire is please be safe. Make sure you have actual like footwear that's on a mountain. You don't just want to go in your old crappy sneakers you wear to the gym. I've done it. It's slippery. It's hard to get grip, let alone when you're going out in the cold. Make sure you have water. A lot of people in New Hampshire will actually get lost. Usually it's not people from New Hampshire. Usually it's people from other states. They come out, They think they can do a bunch of hiking, and then they either get lost or get hurt or something like that happens, and it's never good to see. So please make sure you actually like look at the trail. The All Trails app is super useful. It'll like show you the trail conditions and the weather, and you can actually make sure it's going to be a safe day for hiking, because even my girlfriend, she'll send me sometimes people hiking on the trails, and what they're wearing is just crazy. Just crazy. Like, I don't get it. You're hiking a mountain. It's not like this leisurely thing. Like, you actually want to be kind of prepared, have a snack, some water, have the right shoes, make sure you layer up. But if you're going out in the cold, layer up good, but don't layer up too much, because then people will start sweating, they take it off, they freeze. Never good. So I'm going to put all the links down below with the resources for All Trails, and then the other one for the off-roading stuff is called Visit New Hampshire. That's the best place I found. It's kind of like a directory, so you can look at the trails, and then from there you can go to their sites. Of course, I want to make this short. If you're looking in New Hampshire to buy, and you're like kind of depending on where you want to go, depending on if you're like super into hiking or if you're super into the UTV off-road stuff, if you're looking off-road stuff, a lot of the most, again, open stuff is going to be up north. Of course, there's trail systems around here, but up north, I mean, like, you can literally drive from your house to the trail on the main road. They don't care. Down here, I believe there's like I've seen it before. I don't really know how people do it, so I don't know if it's allowed, but like, I'll be driving through like Troy and I'll see a side-by-side go by. So again, I don't own it, so I would look into it, because I do think we're pretty open on some things. And yeah, the hiking stuff is pretty straightforward. I mean, if you're a hiker, you know, but with New Hampshire, it's a pretty small state. So even if you do live down south and you want to hike up in the White Mountains, usually it's a 2 to 3 hour drive, depending where you are on the south. So it's not like horribly long. Like, usually my girlfriend does it in a day. Like, she'll leave early, go hike the morning, like 9 a.m., hike the mountain, and then she's back by like 3 or 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon after getting some lunch or something. So like, it can be done in a day. It's not necessarily like you have to live right there to use them. But yeah, I don't know. This was kind of a weird video for me, but I want to do it because someone asked me to. So I hope it helped. If you did find it helpful, hit the like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss another video. And we're going into 2025. So if you're looking to buy a house in the new year, please hit me up, and I'd be happy to speak with you, kind of talk about your goals, what you're looking for, and how I can help. And again, I'll catch you guys next week.